Hello everyone. Today we are going to learn something that will add a lot more excitement in your coding journey. So what is that? We are going to learn random numbers and we can do a lot more new things using random numbers. What is that? Are you excited? So let's get started. So you and me together have been doing something like this in past many a times. Like, if I want to say variable x is equals to 50. So what does it do? It actually creates a variable. It creates a variable x and assigned a value 50 to it. But why always 50? Yeah, I understand. You can assign it to any number that is your favorite number. You can assign it to a number which is favorite to you. But the whole point of doing this programming thing is to make the logic, to generate the logic so that we can use the logic to create the behaviors, to generate the graphics and animations. So here comes the random numbers handy. You can assign it to, any of your favorite number. But what is a random number? Let's see what is a random number. Random number is a function like, any other function that we have been using in gamelab since now. Like we use rectangle. Rectangle as a function. Then we also use pardon for the caps. Okay. So we use rectangle a function. We use ellipse as a function. So these are the functions which we use generally in gamelab to draw shapes, etc. Right? So this rectangle takes couple of parameters. It takes 4 parameters: x, y, and width and height. Similarly, ellipse also takes 4 parameters. Now, the function that we are going to learn today is random number. It is also similar to these two functions, rectangle and ellipse. So this is how a random number function looks like. A random number. Yes, random number, this is how it looks like in gamelab. It takes 2 parameters. It takes 2 parameters, something like this, 0, 50. So when I am calling a number, when I am calling a function random number 0, 50, what does it do? It will actually generate a number. It will generate a random number. And that random number actually could be any number between 0 to 50. So it could be either 0, it could be 12, it could be 34, it could be 56. Could it be 56? No, it cannot be 56 because what we are talking here is it could be any number between 0 to 50 and 56 is not between 0 to 50. So let's say it could be 46. So it could be any number between the given two number range. So random number is a function that actually takes 2 variables. It takes 2 variables. First variable is the minimum and second variable is the maximum. So basically you can use the random number to define the range of numbers minimum and maximum, and this function will return you any random number between this range. How do we use it in gamelab? So here I can define a variable, something like this, variable x. Variable x is equals to random number. So what will happen in this case? In this particular case, a random number between minimum and maximum will be generated and the number will be assigned to the variable x. It will be assigned to the variable x. So this is how we write it in gamelab. If I want to generate a random number between 0 to 50, I will say variable x is equals to a random number between 0 to 50. And it will generate any number between the range of 0 to 50 and assign it to the variable x. A lot of discussion. Let's get started, some hands-on now. Quickly along with me, let's open a new project in gamelab. So here I have a new project created in gamelab. So say for example, if I want to create a circle, how do I do that? You all know the command to be used is ellipse. Okay, and to the ellipse, I am going to give some parameters. These are my input parameters, x, y, w, and h. You know it already. X, y are the coordinates where the what is the basically center of this circle or ellipse. So let me say the center is, say for example, 200. Yeah, it's my favorite number. And width and height. Width and height, in case of circle, it will become the diameter of my rectangle. So let me say 50, 50. So let's run it and see what happens. Yes, it creates an ellipse. It creates an ellipse. So let me also say no stroke. I don't want any stroke here. What no stroke will do? You will not see any stroke or any outline surrounding. Okay, so there is no outline. You can see here basically, and we can also give it a color. So let's give it a fill. I can give it a red color. Okay, so this is how you create actually a circle in gamelab with using all your favorite parameters, like, your favorite number and your favorite color and everything. So let's do a little different now. What I'm going to do, I'm going to define variable for everything we have. So I'm going to define a variable for X and Y positions. And so I can initialize it to 200, 200 being my favorite number. And 200 is the Y coordinate. So X and Y are 200 as we have also used in this code. And I will also define a color. So color here is red. So let me define my variable color is equals to red. Okay. Now what we will do, instead of these absolute values where I am already writing 200, 200 or red, we will use the variables. Okay. So let's use the variables that we have already defined the values. So here the name of the variable is color. Let's run it and see what happens. The same boring small circle. Okay. So what do we want? First thing, instead of color red, let me change the color. Let me give it some RGB coordinates. So it could be something like this. I can define variable R is equals to, say, for example, 125. Then variable G is equals to, say, 230. And variable B is equals to, say, 45. You can actually pick any of the RGB coordinate as per your liking. To the fill, I will give this RGB. R, G, B. RGB are the variables that I just defined. So let me see which color it is going to give. This time it gave me green color. Yes, so it is always giving me, a little bit of greenish color, green shade. Okay, what next? I want to add some excitement in form of random numbers. So what we will do now? Now, first thing what I'm going to do, I'm going to put this fill and ellipse inside the draw function. Let me put it inside the draw function so that I can see so many ellipses. But do you think we will see so many ellipses? No, we will just see one ellipse. Why? Because my X coordinate, Y coordinate diameter is always same. So it is actually creating, after every frame, it is creating so many ellipses, but on top of each other all the time. So what we will do now, we will add some excitement. And here variable X and variable Y, I will use random number. Okay, so this is how we use random number. We already saw it, a minimum and a maximum. So random number, because the size of the canvas is 400, I will take between 0 to 400. Similarly, my Y coordinate will also be between 0 to 400. Okay, now let's run it and see what happens. Okay, so I have a Okay, so do you see what happened? I have a circle created, but only one circle created. What do I wanted? I wanted so many circles to be created. So in this case also, we are getting a random position. Every time I run this program, at a random position, my circle will be created. See, my circle is being created at a random position, but I want at every frame change, a random number should be generated. So what we will do, we will just define these two variables, random number, X and Y, outside, but I will assign them values inside, something like this. Okay, so do you see what I have done just now? Similarly, I will do this for Y as well. So my Y also becomes a random number between 0 to 400. Now let's see the magic. So do you see so many circles we are getting? All the circles are green. So now let's use the power of random number again and give them different colors. One more thing, instead of 50, maybe, I want to set the size to 25. Because maybe for this exercise, a 25, a little smaller circle will look better. So to this RGB also, now I'm going to use a random number between 0 to 255. Okay. Maybe if you want a red shade. So in this case, what I will do, I will keep R fixed as 255. While to G and V, I am going to give a random number between 0 to 255. What will happen in this way? It will create a drawing basically that will be more of, red color dominating. So let me run it and show it to you. What do I mean? Okay, so again, do you see what is happening? We are always getting a red number, red color. Why? If I reset and run it again, we are always getting a purple color. Same thing we will have to apply now here as well to RGB. So this G and B has to come inside so that every time when this draw function is running, it actually creates a new color for us. Yes, that is how we will add the excitement, right? So let me remove it from here. Okay, let me remove it from here and add it inside the draw function. So here we just have the declaration and value will be given at the time when the draw function is run. We are not moving R inside because R is a fixed value. If you want, you can move R also inside and give it also a random number. So do you see this time we have different colors and my entire screen is getting filled up with different colors. Oh my God, I'm so much in love with this. It seems so nice. So using this, you can actually create a lot more magic. You can create, something like this. You can give a stroke color differently. So for example, no stroke. Currently, I have defined as no stroke. Okay, if you want a stroke, you can also create a variable stroke and give it a random number. So something like this, again, a random number may be between 3 to 10 or maybe 0 to 10. Okay, and fill we have already given this. So before that we can give, okay, let's run this first and see what happens. Okay, so you have a stroke and it's okay, we are using this stroke variable, but we are not using it anywhere. So we will have to use in stroke weight. Okay, so what is this error? Redefinition of a stroke. What does it mean? Redefinition of a stroke. Okay, so basically stroke is existing variable in gamelab, so we can't use the name stroke. So I will probably use the name as thickness. Okay, so that should work. Thickness. So let's reset and run it. So do you see this time for all the circles, my thickness is also different. You can also add some more excitement and give it a random color again. So, GB again, you can first define here for this fill and use it here. Fill RGB, use RGB. So here, see, I'm using the same variables. I'm not creating the different variables because I need not to. I will just reset and run it and see what happens. So this all code has to come before the stroke weight so that it works properly. Reset and run. Oh, so here what we will have to do, we will have to use RGB stroke. We are getting this color, but for a stroke fill doesn't work. For a stroke, we will have to use the stroke command only and give it a RGB color. So here I am going to give a RGB color and reset and run it. Let's see, this should work this time, hopefully. Yeah, finally it worked this time. I hope you like this video. Using this technique which I taught you in this class, you can create a lot many more behaviors, a lot many more graphics and designs and animations. So use your imagination, use the random number technique that I just show you and share me in comments what you have created actually. See you soon. Bye-bye.